Over the last 3 days, 6 people were murdered in Colombia, 3 of them well-known social leaders, while the 43rd massacre of this year was committed. Our correspondent, Hernán Tovar, has more details on the violence that does not stop in this South American country.
Human rights organizations reported a new massacre in the department of Antioquia. 3 social leaders were victims of illegal armed groups and paramilitaries. With these cases, 43 massacres have been committed and 75 social leaders have been murdered so far in 2021.
These are disputed regions, disputes over territory, resources, mining, roads, and thirdly, there are structures, there are macro-criminal structures, and they are not just small armed groups. There are mafias, there are paramilitaries, and there are political interests involved. And on the other hand, the government is responsible for omission and for the type of policies, because instead of protecting social leaders and communities, it persecutes protesters and wages a new war.
The first record of a series of murders against social leaders was that of Gustavo Solís Ramos, who belonged to a black community in Buenaventura, Valle del Cauca department, an area where the Ombudsman's office had issued alert due to the level of violence in the city, as a result of territorial disputes and clashes between criminal gangs.
They continue to kill, to attack, to threaten. They continue to generate these strategies to eliminate and silence the voices of resistance that we raise in our territories. I believe and consider that the state must also provide these effective guarantees for all of us who are leaders in the territories and for all of us who defend the rights of black communities, because Buenaventura is becoming a time bomb.
Also reported was the assassination of Lucia Solarte, who had stood as a candidate for the Manaure Council in the department of Cesar and was a social leader, as well as that of Ángel Miro Cartagena, who led the drafting of the development programs with a territorial approach, and the Farmers Association in Dabeiba, in Antioquia, a department where more than 10 social leaders have been assassinated.
These interests of armed groups of politicians and businessmen are interests to continue the war, to do business with weapons and violence, and at the same time to prepare the ground to consolidate their political power toward the elections of 2022. All of this is related.
In this context, and during her inaugural speech at the 47th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, requested that demonstrations and the right to peaceful assembly be respected in Colombia. She stated that 56 deaths have been confirmed, 44 civilians and 2 police officers during the more than 50 days of demonstrations.
Hernán Darío Tovar, Telesur, Bogotá.